I wake up before the sun, the smell of sawdust and old wood already in my dreams. My back aches before I even sit up. I tie my worn boots, grab my hammer, and make my way to the workshop, a small place I've been working in for years. The door creaks when I open it, and the morning light spills in, showing me the mess I'll have to deal with today. Boards stacked unevenly, nails scattered like forgotten memories, machines humming quietly in the corner. I sigh, rubbing the stiffness from my shoulders. Another day begins, and I already feel the weight of it. The first task is always the hardest. Today I'm making a custom table for a client who doesn't even understand what goes into making it. Measurements scribbled on paper, rough sketches that don't account for the real wood, expectations I can't always meet. I pick up the saw, feeling the vibration through my hands. Every cut has to be perfect, and my muscles remind me that perfection is expensive in energy. The saw bites into the timber, sending shavings flying, and I pause for a second to think about how little anyone sees the effort behind each piece of furniture. They see the table when it's done, polished and shining, but not the bruised hands or the calluses that cover them. By mid-morning, my phone rings. Another client wants a quick fix on a door frame, something that should take a day, but now has to be done before lunch. I nod and leave the workshop, hammer in one hand, screwdriver in the other, moving as fast as I can without letting mistakes happen. On the street, a neighbor yells at me for making too much noise yesterday. I wave politely, knowing I can't please everyone. I step into the small house, see the crooked frame, and start measuring. Precision matters, but patience is running thin. Wood does what it wants. Nails bend. Screws strip. I grit my teeth and push on. By the time I finish, my shirt is soaked in sweat, my fingers blistered, but the frame stands straight. The client smiles, oblivious of the struggle it took to get it there. I grab a quick drink, cold water from a bottle that has already been refilled too many times today. Lunch will have to wait until the afternoon, if at all. I return to the workshop to find the apprentice waiting, full of questions and eager to help but slow in execution. I show him how to plane a board evenly, how to feel the grain with your fingers, how to judge the right pressure for a chisel. He messes up a cut, and I have to redo it. Frustration bubbles up, but I swallow it down. Patience is part of this job, and teaching someone else only adds to the day, taking energy that's already stretched thin. The afternoon is a blur of hammering, sanding, and polishing. Each piece demands attention, and mistakes are costly. A nail bent wrong, a scratch too deep, and hours of work could be ruined. I grind my teeth against the pain in my hands and arms. My back complains as I bend over a half-built cabinet, dust coating my skin and clothes. The workshop is filled with noise, the whirring of a drill, the hammering echoing against wooden walls, the apprentice asking questions that break my concentration. I laugh quietly at a small joke he makes, a brief moment of lightness in an otherwise punishing day. Humor is rare, but it keeps me sane. Around late afternoon, a client arrives to pick up a chair I finished yesterday. She inspects it carefully, tapping on the wood, running her fingers over the edges. She frowns at a small dent that I noticed too late, something unavoidable during transport. I apologize, offer a small fix, but she seems disappointed. It stings, the way people judge the final product without seeing the process, without knowing the sweat and effort behind it. I packed the chair carefully, wishing for a moment that people appreciated the labor more than the result. By evening, I move on to a new project, a bookshelf for a local cafe. The measurements are tricky, the wood has knots and imperfections, and the client wants it delivered tomorrow. I start cutting, aligning, drilling, and screwing, my movements precise but exhausted. The sound of the tools, the smell of fresh timber, the constant bending and lifting, all merges into one long, tiring rhythm. I pause for a moment, hands on my hips, looking at the unfinished bookshelf and thinking about how every piece I make carries a part of me, even if no one notices. The sun is setting, light casting long shadows across the workshop. My hands are swollen, my back aching, and my clothes are covered in dust and sweat. I wipe my brow and take a deep breath. There's satisfaction in seeing a finished product, yes, but the satisfaction is fleeting, replaced quickly by the next job, the next deadline, the next expectation. I gather the leftover boards, organize the tools, sweep up the sawdust that never seems to end, and finally step outside. The evening air is cool against my skin, and I feel a small sense of relief. Another day survived, another set of pieces ready for the world. I walk home slowly, shoulders heavy, thinking about the people who sit at my tables, read from my bookshelves, live with the furniture I make. They enjoy the result, the comfort, the beauty, but they rarely see the toil it takes to create it. I don't regret it. I love the work, love the craft, but it comes at a cost. My hands ache, my body protests, my mind is tired, yet I know tomorrow I will do it all again. This job takes everything, and sometimes it feels like it takes more than it gives. But I keep going because there is no other way, and what still calls me back to shape it into something useful, something lasting, something real.